What is up, Discovery Student Ministries? Welcome back to another Snowmageddon here in 2022. We're sad to not be in person, but happy that you're joining us online. We're going to start with a new game. It's called Name That Nugget. All right, so here's how the game works. We're going to show a picture of a type of chicken nugget, and we have to say where it's from. Play along at home. Nathan and I are going to talk about it and see how we do, see if you can beat our score.
If you say where it's from, like McDonald's, Wendy's,
Right.
that type of thing, not like Argentina.
Right. No, yeah, it's like what fast food joint is this
Cool.
one from? Like where did this nugget come from? So are you guys ready? Are you ready, Nathan?
Yeah, I've got confidence in this. I eat a lot more fast food than you.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of nuggets. The Nuggy Nugs.
I'm excited.
Here we go.
Yep.
Speaking of nuggets, Grogu's favorite are nuggets, so hang on a second. He's probably not in focus, but he's totally going to play along with us, okay?
I love it.
Because Grogu loves nuggies. All right, here we go. Oh, that's totally McDonald's. Yeah, 100%. I knew that one.
Yeah, I think
it looks like a boot, and McDonald's nuggets for some reason are just weirdly shaped.
It's that crispy part around the edge, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
And like the not quite golden color.
Yeah.
Is also very McDonald's style. I used to dip them in honey when I was a kid. That's how I liked them.
All right.
Yeah. Hey! All right. All right, number 2. Did you get that right?
You.
Good. I hope you did.
Dude. That is Popeyes.
Wow. Okay.
That's my guess. I don't know.
I'm willing to go with that because it does not look like anything I've had, and I don't really experience the Popeyes.
Okay.
I feel like that looks like their commercials. A lot of texture. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. Let's see.
Nailed it. Nathan's 2 for 2. That's really good.
Okay, that's Wendy's.
That's Wendy's. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, that looks like an oven mitt kind of.
It does look like
Why
an
are
oven
chicken
mitt.
nuggets? What part of the chicken does a nugget come from? No, I don't want to know. Let's move on.
We were both wrong. Well, see, here's the thing. I don't go to Burger King. I don't like Burger King at all.
Oh my goodness.
And if I do, I'm not. Yeah, it's nasty.
Wow.
Right.
Look how thin that is. Like right there in the middle. Like there's barely even any breading there. All right. Those are small. Like popcorn
that's
chicken,
like
Carl's
Carl's
Jr.
Jr.
style.
or
Carl's
KFC.
Jr.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with KFC.
I'll go Carl's Jr.
Yeah, popcorn nuggy nugs. Oh, I didn't
Good
give you guys
job,
a
good
chance to get that one. Sorry. Hopefully you had a chance to be fast.
You gotta be quick. What
is this Krispy Kreme? What is this? This is the nugget donut. Dugget?
Let's go Carl's Jr. since I haven't seen anything
Okay.
by them, and maybe they do like a nugget, like a chicken ring.
I'm gonna go something crazy like White Castle for some reason. Try to create a nugget.
Well, it's gonna be like In-N-Out. Holy crap!
I promise you guys, this is the first time I downloaded this game today for our stuff, and I told Nathan I'm not gonna look at it because I wanted to play along too.
So are we 2 and 2 now?
I don't know.
You got KFC and White Castle.
Yeah, but I
And
knew
both of
McDonald's
us-
too. So we both
Right, but
got
I
on
said it
for
first.
Oh, so we're doing speed round. Okay,
I don't know.
All right, I don't know either. They just have to beat our combined score.
I like it.
How's
Okay,
that sound?
cool.
Okay, that's Chick-fil-A.
You think that's a Chick-fil-A?
There's only one nugget I've had recently, and that's a Chick-fil-A nugget.
All right, I'll buy it. Chick-fil-A. Yep.
Yeah. That looks
that doesn't
absolutely
look fried.
disgusting. Why is it so slimy?
Where have we not?
Well, we haven't seen Wendy's, Carl's Jr.
Well, I thought we saw Wendy's. Didn't we?
No,
get...
we said Wendy's.
Oh, but it was
ended up
Burger
being
King.
Burger
You're right.
King.
That's not Wendy's. No way.
Taco John's?
Do they do nuggets?
I have no idea. Where does Tucker work?
Culver's. Is that a Culver's? Is the
Shout
question.
out to Tucker there.
Hopefully, right now you guys are all typing things in the comments. I want you to be, if you haven't already.
Okay, my final answer for this one is
Let's go Culver's.
what is the name? Long John Silver's. I'm going
Oh,
Long
no,
John
no.
Silver's.
Long John Silver's is fake. Like,
What's the name of the actual?
They're not a real place. I'm saying.
What's the one that?
That's called Long John Silver's. But here's the thing. Long John Silver's, they're open. They've got restaurants everywhere, and nobody is ever in them. It's a front for something.
Oh, like the mattress stores around here.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Let's
they
go.
just keep opening up. I'm like, not that many people are buying that.
Oh.
Gross.
Okay, avoid Dairy Queen for anything but ice cream, and maybe then even avoid it.
If you've ever had them, please let me know how they are.
Okay, can I tell you a true story?
Yeah.
It's about Dairy Queen, but not
Okay.
chicken. So one year, relatively recently, within the past 10 years, I don't remember when, we went to Kentucky where I have a lot of relatives.
Yeah.
And we went through the drive-thru at Dairy Queen, and on their menu they had biscuits and gravy. It was one of the best biscuits and gravy I had. It
From
was
a Dairy
so
Queen in
good.
Kentucky.
From a Dairy Queen in Kentucky.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome. So
All right.
you can at least do that.
There you go. Oh, those are spicy.
this is,
Those are from.
yeah, Wendy's.
Yeah. There you go.
That's got to be the spicy nut
Yep.
Wendy's. Yes.
Good work. Good work.
Good job. How many are there?
I don't know. I think they're 10, but I haven't been counting.
I feel like we've hit every major chain at this point. I mean, Carl's Jr. still.
This one looks like the Wendy's one, just not the spicy.
What if they put
the
two
orange
Wendy's
color.
in here?
That'd be funny. I don't think so.
I'm going to say Carl's Jr. Yeah.
That's cheating.
That's not fast
Oh,
food.
man.
I like it, though.
That's
But
Carl's Jr.
That's got to be Carl's Jr. because they
Or
have Hardee's.
Hardee's is the other.
Aren't they
name
the
of it.
same-
They're the same company. It's just
Yeah.
East Coast versus West Coast name.
Okay.
Yep.
Carl's Jr.
There
Yep.
it is. We should have known it was the start.
Yeah.
There's more. How many fast food nuggies are there?
What the?
Almost looks like a tater tot. I'm kind of hungry now. I got nothing on this one, Nathan.
I don't know.
So just to say a food place, Taco Bell.
They don't do chicken nuggets. Jack in the Box.
I forgot about Jack in the Box.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever been to Jack in the Box. So
In Southern California, when I lived there, we had them everywhere, so I went often.
we have one here, don't we? No, we don't anymore.
We don't.
It's closed.
Yep.
It's Good Times now.
Hey,
That's where
there's
Jack.
another name we can throw out here.
But
if
that's
we
where
need
Jack
any
in the
more.
Box is.
Like this one. Look at this nugget.
It looks like a bull. Like that's its
It
head.
does, yeah.
And it's getting ready to charge.
Yikes. That's
like it.
frightening. All right. That's from Good Times.
Good Times. Oh, Arby's. I forgot about Arby's.
They have the meats.
They do have the meats.
Yeah.
Apparently that includes chicken nuggets.
I don't think I've ever had nuggets from Arby's.
Whoa,
That's like a chicken finger.
No, that's I've had this. I
Almost
can
looks like a
taste this in
shrimp.
my.
You can taste. This looks.
does look like shrimp.
This has
It's,
texture similar to Popeyes.
Yeah. It's I've had this nugget. I can taste it. It's
What's the chicken place on College here?
Cane's. It's not.
It's not Cane's.
Well, it could be Cane's.
That's the only
I'm
place
thinking
I can
of
think
somewhere
that has
else, but
texture.
yeah, let's go Cane's. Zaxby's.
What is
I've
that?
never had Zaxby's either.
That's not from around here.
No. And that's it.
All right.
So we have a score of something.
Something. How'd you do?
How did you guys do in the chat? Hopefully good.
Hopefully better than we did. All right, Grogu, thanks for playing with us. Appreciate you. All right, so that was fun. We do want to talk a little bit about continuing our series we've been on for 4 weeks. We've been talking about how we can grow our faith. And so things like serving others, things like being surrounded by people who have similar beliefs and can raise you up and point you to Jesus. In fact, we asked the question, I think last time we were online, who do you have in your life that is pointing you towards Jesus in the midst of those conversations? So hopefully you had a chance to watch that and talk about that. But tonight, I want us to talk about another way that we can grow our faith, or that God uses to grow our faith, and that's trials. Now, when I say trials, Nathan, what's one of the first things that you think of when I say the word trials?
I mean, difficult times, hard circumstances, and I mean, when in the context of like a Bible study, I think of James, where he says, "Count it all joy when you experience trials." Like that word specifically stands out as maybe that's the NIV or something, and so that's what I'm used to hearing. But I that's where my mind goes.
Yeah, I think I would agree. Outside of like court trials, the first thing that comes to mind is something difficult that you've had to work through or struggle through.
Yeah.
I'm sure you all have experienced something or even are experiencing a trial right now. Nathan, you mentioned James. Before we move forward, I want to sit on that for a second. What does it mean then when it says consider it all joy or pure joy whenever you face trials of any kind? So obviously it's a vast variety of trials that we need to count it as joy. What does that mean, and how do I do that?
Sure. I think that's a great question, and I think it's something that is so often misunderstood because I think we conflate joy with happiness. I mean, look around, even culturally, that's a thing. You watch the movie Inside Out, that's about, all the emotions, the Pixar movie, and the lead character is joy, but really she's happiness, right? That's what we see her doing, and that's the emotion we see expressed by her character is closer to what I would call happiness. And so you might be asking, well, what is the difference? Is there a difference between the two? And I think this verse especially highlights that there is a difference, because if we substitute, it doesn't work, which is to say, if you say count it all happiness when you go through bad times, I think you'd be insane, right? If I'm getting like something terrible is happening to me, like I've got illness or death or anything bad going on in your life, and you're like, I'm going to be happy about that. Like, this is awesome. I'm so excited. Like that, you're going to either just be faking it entirely or you're just crazy, because you don't have to be like happy about bad things. But the joy in it is when we can see, and he continues in that verse, James talks about the different things that joy, that those trials will produce in your life. And so I think joy is beyond happiness. It's this kind of a deep-seated peace, because we know that it is being used for good through what God is doing, that allows us to take comfort in that time. And so not be happy, but be at peace and resting in that, I guess.
That's good. That kind of harps back to Romans 8. We know God works all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purposes. And so when we're facing trials, and we're supposed to consider it joy, or have joy, peace in the midst of those trials, knowing that God is doing something in there. Yeah. Is that kind of...
That's where I would take it,
okay.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, one would then potentially argue, I know I thought this when I was in middle school, high school, at different points in my life of, well, then if God is using this for a certain purpose, and I'm supposed to have these emotions like joy in the midst of it, did God cause that trial then for this purpose? And I know, like, almost 2 years ago on our DSM YouTube page, we had this talk about like, why do bad things happen to good people, and where's God in the midst of suffering? And a lot of similar thoughts come up when I think about growing our faith through trials. But can we say then that God is causing those trials for us to grow our faith?
That's a really good question, and I think probably that ultimately goes beyond our scope of time today, because that's such a huge issue.
Yeah.
But briefly, the answer is maybe. And what I mean by what I mean by that is God certainly will allow things that are trials to happen to us. And so while not directly causing them, he knows, if I allow Nathan to go through this, the result will be so much better that it was worth that momentary hardship to get the benefit out of it. And so God could say, that is coming. I'm not going to cause it, but I'm not going to stop it, because I know it will be used for good. Now, does God sometimes intentionally cause those things? I don't know. I look back at the story of like Joseph, and his brothers are selling him into slavery, and all these bad things happen. And at the end of it, Joseph says, what you intended for evil, God intended for good, which almost gives this kind of a causal note to
God
it.
intended for this to happen.
Right. And so when we get into these questions, and this is kind of, again, another big topic of God's sovereignty, just a fancy way of saying, like, is God in control, and what does his control look like? The question is what part does he play? Now, he'll never sin, and he'll never lead us into a situation where he'll never like force us to sin, I guess, or force others to sin. to lead us into this thing. And a lot of tragedy and bad things are a result of people's free choice to sin. And so, like I said, this is a huge
Right.
topic. And so that's why I said maybe.
Nice. Yeah, I would lean on a general idea of trials and answer that question with no.
Right.
God probably didn't purposely cause this trial in your life so that you could figure out how to grow your faith in the midst of it. I don't think God is that manipulative
Sure.
or evil, because that sounds
Right.
like, haha, Nathan, I'm going to do this to you so that you'll learn a lesson.
Right.
That's a little sadistic of me. Like, I don't see God doing that,
Right.
but God allowing them, God knowing it's coming and not putting a stop to it because he knows there's a greater good beyond our ability to understand. Yeah. And so that's where that maybe comes in.
Correct.
So trials happen, and it's not because God caused them, but in the midst of these trials, I consider it joy, peace. And now I can use this trial. And you guys, I'm sure you're thinking of something right now in your life. Maybe it's a family member has cancer. Maybe it's a friendship that's fallen apart at school. Maybe your grades are struggling. Maybe you don't have friends. Maybe your parents are fighting and going through a divorce. Like, I don't know what it is in your life right now. You do think of that trial. And I think there's a couple of questions that we can ask. And I think the first one that's important is, and really this is true in every area of our life, but where is God in this? One of the things we do as a family oftentimes when we're sitting at the dinner table is, what was your high, what was your low, and how did you see God today? Just because it sparks some good discussion and gives us an opportunity to connect on what our day was, but taking that opportunity to see where is God. Nathan, why do you think that's important?
Well, I mean, ultimately it boils down to this is Christianity, is that we don't have a God who doesn't understand what we're going through, right? In Jesus, God made flesh. He has gone through tragedy and hardship and experienced it. And so we don't have a God who doesn't understand pain, who's saying, I'm going to allow you through this trial, but I don't have any way to connect with that trial, right? Like, he has gone through them himself. And so he is able to say, look, I know this is hard. I've been there, but you'll get through this. And I've got you, and I'm in control of the reasonings behind it.
Yeah, that's good. I think one of the biggest tactics of Satan, of the enemy against Christ followers, is to distract us. So I think even apart from trials, to regularly ask the question of where did I see God keeps my mind and my heart and my energy focused on him. That's so good. That I'm not going hours, days, weeks, months at a time without fixing my mind on Jesus, right? It's almost like a good just daily habit, not just trial of where is God in this, but then I think it becomes easier once those trials do come because I'm already in tune with noticing how God shows up in my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Where when a trial comes, I'm already thinking, all right, God, what are you doing? What's going on here? Where are you? How's this happening?
Right. And maybe that kind of ties back into that finding joy in it, is that you can get a little bit of like, God, you're obviously you're doing something cool in this because this is happening.
Right. And I might not understand it now. Right. But I know that he's in control. And so I can try and, for even a brief moment, step outside of my own thinking, small thinking, and think, okay, God's got something big going on. I might not get it. I might not even like it right now, but I can maybe even be a little excited about, okay, God, what's happening? What's going on?
That's cool.
And I think of like, all right, ways that God has shown up. A cancer diagnosis in the family that seemed very dire, and all of a sudden there was that bit of good news where the doctor's like, well, it's different than I thought. Yeah. Or a tragedy happened in your life and you get that text from a friend or a coach or a teacher or something that just like reminds you that, okay, you're not alone in this. Like, these are all ways I think I've seen God show up in the midst of trials that we might just brush off as coincidence or, well, my friend just feels sorry for me, so they're texting me. No, God's using them to give you a piece of encouragement in the midst of this and help you to see that joy. I think then the second question that we ask is, how can I use this situation now to grow my faith? So how would I use, knowing that God does use trials to help us persevere and grow our faith, how do I do that?
That's a great question. And so, like you said, the first part is realizing that he does this for a reason, that he is allowing or presenting you this opportunity for growth. And with that in mind, the first thing you need to think is, what is my response when something bad happens? Is my response to get angry or to get upset or to go to certain things that give us comfort in our lives, maybe as like something to kind of soothe us through the difficulty? Or is this an opportunity then for us to go to God, right? Is our first response going to be, I'm going to pray. I'm going to spend some extra time in Bible study. I'm going to spend some time around other Christians and talk through this and say, look, I'm really struggling right now. I think a lot of times where our heart immediately goes will show us what we're putting as that center of our life, right? It's where we're going to for comfort is, I want to say, almost what we worship. And so we're looking at that to help solve the problem for us, even if it's not a direct solve. So, as an example, maybe some people really are like, when I get really depressed or upset, I just want to go shopping, right? So shopping is that thing to kind of ease the sorrow that you're having. And, whatever, if you want to shop. But where is it that your mind immediately goes? Where is it that you immediately turn to for comfort? And if it's anything other than God, then that's a chance for us to examine ourselves and say, well, I wonder why that is. And then maybe we then intentionally try the next time when these things happen to say, you know what, this is where my heart wants to go, but I'm going to choose to focus on God instead.
Right. That's good. It's funny. It reminds me on Sunday, this past Sunday in our high school Sunday school class, we were talking about the idea of character in the Bible. And one of the things that we talked about and was mentioned was oftentimes the characters we read in Scripture, they get to a point where they have fallen so hard, like flat on their face because of trials, tribulations, whatever's going on. It's at that point that they then fully focus and surrender everything to God. And I think, unfortunately, for a lot of people, it takes us hitting rock bottom before we fix our eyes on Jesus at that point. But that's another way, I think, in the midst of trial, as I'm down, I look at the only one who's able to pick me up, right? And so I'm focused on him and, okay, God, I obviously can't do this on my own. I'm struggling, I'm hurt, whatever it is. I need you. And so it oftentimes, we pray more in the midst of trials. We talk with people oftentimes in the midst of trials and more. Now, some of us, when bad things happen, we tend to like hold it all in and take it in tight. But then the healthy thing, I think, is for us to talk with others about it and get encouragement. I think, through all those different things, we have the opportunity to then grow in our faith because we recognize that I can't solve this problem on my own. And so we look to him. So for you guys, ask those two questions whenever you're in the midst of a trial. Where is God in this, and how can I grow my faith? And I think the more you take ownership of how you can grow your faith and start asking that question and looking for those answers, the better off you'll be, not just now, but in the long run.
So thanks again for coming, guys. A couple quick things as we wrap it up. First of all, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to our channel and to this video. It'll help with the metrics of everything, and it helps get this out there for maybe somebody who needs to see it as they're going through something difficult themselves. And then if you want, we've got our Discord server. Hop over there, jump on, say hi. It's going to be very relaxed. So if you want to just hop on and say hi to people, go for it. If you don't have access to that and you want access to that, email us, dsm@dfchurch.com, and we can get you hooked up.
See you.
Bye.